Nintendo Everything put out this post and says Nintendo says it understands that some consumers won't be able to afford the Switch 2, which is why they're still making Switch 1 available. That's some cold shit to say, especially since you already sold like 150 million of these bitches, right? Like, if they wanted it, they would have gotten it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't selling that much anymore, and that's a problem. Let me go ahead and get the official write-up over here. It says, while discussion surrounding Switch 2's price continues, Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser understands that some consumers may not be able to afford the system. Bowser was speaking about the cost in a recent interview. For those interested in Nintendo's overall ecosystem, Bowser highlighted that it will continue to have Switch 1 available. New games for that console will also continue to launch heading into 2026. Bowser told CBC, as we look at Nintendo Switch 2 and you think about the feature sets that I talked about, we believe that the pricing is appropriate for the value of the machine and the gameplay experience overall. We recognize there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available, so people still have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe, be a part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of the platform they come in. Oh, there's been plenty of talk surrounding the Nintendo Switch 2's cost, and some are fearing that it can go higher than the previously announced $450 price. That's right. Let's not forget the tariffs.
Yep.
A few days ago, it was announced that pre-orders are being delayed in the U.S. as Nintendo evaluates the impact of tariffs. We also heard quite a bit of Nintendo's Switch 2 price yesterday. Bowser confirmed that previous tariffs were not factored in when deciding on $450. Meanwhile, outside the console, there's even more controversy surrounding game prices. Titles like Mario Kart World and Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom are going for $80 each. It's funny because people try to tell us that it was only Mario Kart World that was $80, but Tears of the Kingdom is also $80. Okay, so that's what it was. That's what it was said. Now, again, as soon as I saw this, I was like, wow. It's almost like who are they? Like, who is this Nintendo that showed its face to us? Like, are you just proving that you were always so like weak and like
pathetic
that until you had the backing of the Switch, like, understand, they bowed out. We talked about it. They bowed out of the race of power, and then they bowed out of the console market. Like, let's not get this twisted. Their handhelds were the thing that were leading the way. He said we sold 150 million Switch 2s. We were having a discussion the other day and found out one of their top selling handhelds was the 3DS, I guess, or whatever it was. It sold 150 something million. So realistically speaking, you just are selling to your handheld base. The fact that you can dock it is appealing to the lesser group of people who were buying the consoles. You're not pushing things forward. You're just moving things from one side to the other. You're like, when did you become this cocky, right? To think that you were going to come out here, and just fucking listen, I know, like, again, I agree with you, Dirt. Like, when I heard the 450, if I take Nintendo out of my head and I hear a new console at 450, that makes sense to me, right? Because the world we're living in today, everything is $399 and up pretty much, right? So it makes sense. And then I start thinking about Nintendo, and then I start thinking about what a Series S costs on Xbox. And then I start wondering, how the fuck can Nintendo tell me that they're going to charge me more than what a Series S costs, and it can't even perform like the Series S can perform?
Hell, Steam Deck.
I mean, that's nasty work right there. That's nasty work right there. It's a big problem for me when I see this, because I just think, why? Like, I know greed is a word that a lot of people are using, and I think greed I think greed from an outsider makes sense. Like we're calling them greedy.
Mhm.
I think it's pure cockiness. I think it's just them thinking they can, so they will. They not. I don't think it's greed in their mindset, because for them they take all the money anyway. They've been greedy for every console they made, because instead of lowering the price like everybody else and actually taking a hit on the console, they've always made sure that they made money on every console, and then they made money on the games as well. So that's like natural. That's who they are. They've been greedy. What's new now is that they're cocky. You know what I'm saying? They're cocky. They think they're some big shit coming out here with this fucking crazy. Literally 300 is where they launched the Switch.
That's a big jump.
$150 more. They're launching the Switch 2. It's again over 50% more. That's asinine. And then you factor in what the actual games cost. Let's not forget, people are talking about $70 as if that was Nintendo's always price.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Nintendo was rocking $60. They were rocking $60 for their games.
Until when? Until they released the Switch, until they dropped the Switch.
So
no.
Actually, on the Switch they were 60. Is when they dropped that
the Zelda
Tears of the Kingdom.
The special. Then they dropped the special Switch with it. No. Yep.
Well,
they dropped that as well.
Yeah, they dropped that.
This is the thing, by the way. Don't expect them to just make that one version of the Switch that they're going to release. We know that, with the Switch 1, they made Splatoon, they made Zelda, they made a Mario version, Animal Crossing. So expect that as well. I wonder if they are butthurt about the fact that they feel like they brought handhelds back, right? And everyone jumped on that wagon and everyone's making money off of that. And they feel maybe entitled that they deserve to get this type of money now to make up for doing what they did, for being innovative and putting this out there that everyone kind of ran with, because they did make it a thing. Now they made it relevant. They brought this in and everyone kind of just ran with it. The world was ready for something like that. And they started making different versions of it with more power. But this is a little out there for them to go ahead and have these type of prices. Personally, I think they're having their PlayStation moment with the PlayStation 5 Pro. I think that they're getting a little over their head with this situation. And again, if we were shocked by the 450, and CMoney is absolutely right, it's just when you start breaking it down, it's when you're like, okay, well, hold up, what is happening here? Because we did initially hear the price and it was like, okay, and then when you start analyzing, you're like, wait, hold on, how much was the Switch versus the new one that's coming out? But when those prices for the game, and that's what was weird, they didn't give you any prices, not for the console, not for the games. I don't know if you guys looked up the prices for anything, but I found out on Twitter about the game prices being $80 to $90.
Mm-hmm.
I just ended up kind of like seeing it, and I'm like, wait, hold on, no way Nintendo's doing this. So they wouldn't even dare. And I said this before, at least PlayStation put their prices out there with the Pro, as timid as they were, and as much as they wanted to like really show you the worth by pausing, zooming in and everything, at least they did like rip the Band-Aid and had the balls to go ahead and give you the price for the console. But Nintendo didn't do that. They were very, very reserved about that. And then again, like I said, where did you guys find out? Because I found out on Twitter.
Yeah, I found out on Twitter about all the pricing for the games and for the hardware.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
That makes it even more shady, because that they couldn't put that out there themselves.
Yeah, because I was wondering at that direct, they did everything else but announce the price.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It felt weird.
I think
weird,
the only
right?
thing they announced the price for was that tech demo that they're selling.
The
No,
tech
they-
demo
no,
that
they
they're
just said
selling.
that Yeah. Oh yes, they're selling it.
The one that they're
that's all they
selling?
mentioned,
Yeah.
that
selling.
they're gonna sell it.
The-
So at first I
intro
thought it
demo.
was something that they were just gonna show you or something that you got to do, but no, it's not a part of the console. It's not something that it's an experience. If you choose to want to go ahead and look into that, it's a game, full price, supposedly.
Tech demo. Listen,
Yes.
even dog shit PlayStation include the Astro Playroom with the PS5 as a tech demo to show you what the controller can do. But Nintendo wants to charge. I don't know how much are they charging for it?
I think it's 20.
That's 20 too much.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But listen,
I could also be making that up. I think
That's
it's.
Nintendo.
I feel like I heard people say it was 20.
I heard people say it was a full like a full game. But then again, why? See, okay, Mac
says
is
I think it's
saying
40.
yes.
Lynn says 10. I think we're
So
all
nobody
over the
knows the
fucking
price. We all over the place. Yeah.
The fact that they're charging is a problem. That they're charging for that nonsense. Like what? Now we're gonna go ahead and look at the specs of the crap that you made. So what? We can maybe feel comfortable about the fact that our Joy-Cons are not gonna fall apart like the last ones that you made. Those things were trash.
I also heard something regarding those is that they might still have drift because they don't have the magnets at the Hall effect.
Yeah.
They didn't even fucking put Hall effect, bro.
Yeah.
The stupid,
I saw that the other day, too.
Shittiest controllers on these streets now. They just be putting Hall effect in there like, fuck it. We'll take the
And
hit.
by the way, all of their accessories, the prices went up on that too. And the Joy-Cons were already $90. So if we have the same situation where you can't, like, these things seriously are so fragile, they break so easily. I mean, here we go with another issue. Like, fix that problem. Figure out how to make that work first. And then we'll talk about money.
Agreed. So again, I mean, when we look at what happened with this, I mean, I want to hear from you guys. Like, what do you like? What is the mindset? What do you think? Realistically speaking, obviously he came out here and said all this stupid shit, but they had to be smoking some crack, right? Like there had to be something happening to make this happen. Farrell, what do you feel when you saw this, when you heard this was happening, and now this moment of if you can't afford it, oh well, go buy our old shit.
I feel like actually piggybacking off of what you guys have said, I think part of it is that they've spent the better half of the past decade as the market leader, but they never got the respect for it. So maybe they raised their prices to kind of like, you have to respect our console now and not just say, oh, it's just a Switch or oh, it's just a Mario game. Maybe that's a part of it. Because otherwise, I just
Pride?
I don't really see where it made sense to raise prices to this extent, because I feel like you alienated so much of your customer base. Like I said, like, you know, if you got 2 or 3 kids and you were buying each one of them Switches, to do that now and to buy them the games and the online, it becomes very cumbersome for a family of, you know, 3 or more to do that. So
imagine a family of 8.
yeah.
And everyone, you know, everybody would want one. That's the thing, Farrell, and you're absolutely right. I want to say, you remember me saying, I want them to give me a reason. Right now, there's not a reason to go ahead and get the new Switch.
Mm-hmm.
The reason wasn't there. They were leaning on a ridiculous amount of third-party games. Like, what are you bringing to the table? It wasn't enough for me.
And it was all
I don't know how you felt watching that show.
It was a bunch of old third-party games too. Like
Exactly.
there weren't a lot of new ones outside of the I guess they call it a Bloodborne sequel, Dust Bloods or whatever. That was like the only like real new AAA that we saw that people really want to get their hands on. But the third party stuff, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, that's been out for since 2018, I think.
That was another funny moment for us too.
And then you got Cyberpunk that came out in 2020.
2020.
Yeah, so I mean, like these games are older. So I don't see the appeal to get a brand new Switch to play those type of games.
That look better on a different console, though.
Yeah.
Like that's also a part of the issue. And essentially, if you do have a different console, then you probably would have, if you had the interest, you probably would have played these games.
Yeah,
You
already for
know,
sure.
I think it's the scope. When I see that and I hear that, right? And I'm like, okay, they're bringing all these third-party games. This is what they're leaning on. It's almost as if they're giving these games for their own audience that they believe bought only the Switch, right? So if you don't have access to these games because you've been stuck on Nintendo and now these games are coming to your platform, then that's when it kind of makes sense. Oh, look at all these things that they're bringing in, all these third-party games that are bringing in. But it also doesn't suit with the narrative that Nintendo people go to Nintendo to play Nintendo games.
Facts.
It's
Yeah.
a contradiction.
Facts.
Yeah. I do think it makes sense for the Asian market, though, because the Asian market doesn't really buy PlayStations and Xboxes. So it might make sense over there, but for over here, like it does, like that show didn't necessarily appeal to us. We were already played on our hardware preference. By the time it comes to the Switch 2 in June. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it also has a lot to do with obviously their focus. I think we know that times are changing. You know, we know that little kids today are not Nintendo heads unless mommy and daddy are Nintendo heads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, people are not going to the store to buy a Switch to throw at their kid to keep them quiet. They're giving them the Amazon
phone.
Fire tablet, their little phone. You know what I'm saying? Like they're grabbing a pad or a phone to throw at the kid. Like, here, entertain yourself. And the kids they find games, they play games, they do that shit amazingly. I feel our son will come to me like pissed off because he got stuck or something in the game on his phone, and on the phone, and he give it to me, and I'm like, bro, I don't know how to I don't know what you've been doing in this game. Like, I have no idea how any of this works. And then he'll get frustrated and take it from me and then do it immediately, all on the touchscreen. I'm like, bro, this is just natural for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they get it. They can play these games. This is what they want, is access. They don't care about Nintendo, the name brand. They don't care about Xbox. They don't care about PlayStation. None of these kids care. They just want to play whatever game they want to play whenever they can, right? And however they can. And most of them, that's on a mobile device of some way, shape, or form. So I think Nintendo sees it too, man. Like, a lot of people try to cap for them and act like they think that they're above it. I don't think they think that. I think they know that the youth is not all that is cracked up to be for them right now. They still have a generation of youth that are there, but it's after that generation what happens, right? So you don't want to wait until nobody's going to be picking up your Switch, right? What you want to do is get them used to the idea that if they own a Switch, they can also play the big boy games here as well.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they're doing this, right? They want to make sure that for the parents who have a kid that they want to buy the Switch for, they want to be able to say, okay, you put the kid to bed. Now I'm going to go and play, Cyberpunk or whatever the hell it is. The question is, does it backfire on them? And over time, the grown-up likes the real games,
and then
right? And then says, "Oh shit, but these games
version
are better on an Xbox or on a PlayStation. Let me get one of those systems instead." And then they just abandon the Switch, because at what point are we all going to stop acting like the graphics are going to compete, bro? They're not.
Yeah,
they're not.
I think what you said is true. It's a different time. Some people still want it to be like the early 2000s or the 90s. It's a different time. Nintendo obviously still has a fan base. The Switch sold extremely well, but I think it's so well because it was that hybrid, that handheld. And like you mentioned, there was still going to be some parents that buy the Switches, of course. But the better these phones and these other devices get, like you're just gonna see less and less people buy consoles. Now, I'm not making an excuse because of what's going on in the industry. We keep on seeing these console prices is going to keep on going up, right? I pretty much the next Xbox is not going to be less than 700. Let's leave it at that. PS6 is probably not going to be less. Hell, the Pro is 700.
Exactly.
So the PS6 is probably going to be 800.
Dirt, don't say that. Don't say that, Dirt, because you got certain ponies out there who would differ and tell you that the Pro is just not subsidized because they want to make the money, but then on the next one they're going to subsidize it. So they've been selling an inferior product for 700 and people are used to it, but they're going to go cheaper than the 700 and give you a better product.
Ain't no damn way. See, I'm up here admitting the next Xbox might be 800. Right?
That's wild.
So what's going to happen when you think about, I always say this on my show, when you think about who's better prepared for the future, I think that's the easy answer. Xbox. They're prepared with their cloud technology, their games, they have the content that nobody else, as far as the big three, as far as publishers and platform holders, nobody has the content that they have. Now, if you want to talk about Nintendo, we can't predict the future because like people make fun of me because I had a video, my first video on my channel in 2016, October 2016. I did a video saying Nintendo Switch will flop. Obviously, that didn't happen. So we can't really predict the future, but we can see what's happening now. As far as like you said, CMoney, like what's happening with these kids, right? Now, the kids that's kids now, 7-8 years, I don't see them like still sticking to traditional consoles. I just don't. And we can talk about, is the next Xbox the last Xbox? Probably. Hell, 15 years from now, maybe cloud technology will be so great that it feels native. Some people tell me that there's some cloud technology that feels native now.
It already feels native, dog.
Yeah.
I do most of my gaming. I replayed Avowed, okay, entirely on cloud.
There you go.
Entirely. And that shit is amazing. So yeah, we're already there. The people who are like, obviously, I would say still for like I feel like I have noticed that on TV it's not the same. On a device,
it's really
like I do it on the Steam OLED, and I got GeForce Now and xCloud on there, and on the device, perfect, feels 100% native. xCloud or GeForce Now already.
That's what I heard is like native
on
GeForce
TV,
Now. Like people told me like
not great on TV yet. So I don't know if it's the connection between the controller and the system, the internet. I don't know what the fuck it is, but maybe that's why Xbox is supposed to be doing that new the controller that connects to the internet instead of to your console.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but this is just like you said, it's a different time, man, and we have to realize it. It's a different time. Gaming's not going anywhere. But I do feel that the way we play games is still going to be like the traditional way is still going to be here for now. Hey, I'm 48 years old. What the hell do I care in 15 years? I just still want to play games. God willing, I'm still here playing games. You know what I'm saying? As long as I can still play how I like to play. I just love the options that a company like Microsoft is giving us. I love the options. And next generation, they're going to have an official handheld. You have another console. We obviously the rumor about Steam. I just love that. And Nintendo is still sticking traditional for now. Even PlayStation is, they're still trying to stick traditional, but they're still doing some things they've never done before, like the PC. And, there's some other things we're seeing that's going on. So I'm still excited about the future of gaming, but at the same time, I am kind of worried about certain things. Like the prices of these games keep on going up. I mean, it's crazy because my love for gaming is not going to leave, right? So and that's why something like Xbox Game Pass, that value is just
it's untouchable.
It's untouchable. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. It's untouchable. And when I was talking about Xbox Game Pass last week, when all this news came out with the pricing for the Switch 2, and I was like, Xbox Game Pass is the best value in gaming, hands down, it's untouchable. The responses was, well, Xbox Game Pass is going to go up too. No shit. But I bet you it won't be $80 a month, you pieces of trash.
Facts.
Facts. It won't be
it's
80.
Go up. Yeah, I'm sure it will go up again. Duh. But look at the value they're giving us. Just look at the last 6 months.
Bro.
Indiana Jones, Avowed, even third-party games is going in there day one.
Mm-hmm.
Atom Fall, Expedition 33 is coming. Stalker 2. I forgot about Stalker 2. Thank you. And I finished that. I still don't know how I finished that game, but I did.
You finished that game?
Yes, bro. It's like 75 hours. I don't know. I really enjoyed it, but that game was I never played a game like that, bro.
That's wild.
I
want to. I felt like I'll never beat it, yo. I feel like
when somebody said, "Dirt, you finished that game," I was like, I do not know how. I kept on getting pissed. Wild. I was thinking I was fighting the last boss. The game would go about 6-7 more hours. I fight another boss. Okay, I said that has to be the last boss, right? Game would go another 4 hours. I'm like, what the?
Oh my god!
But I said I have to finish it. I made it this far. I have to finish it at this point. But so that's true, man. So
that's real wild. That's real wild. But but that's just the value that exists, right? Like, look, the fact is that Game Pass it really is untouchable, like you said. And honestly, when you think about what's happening with Nintendo, like, listen, I would love to be, have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank and it just don't matter what things cost. I just snap my finger and make it happen, right? And it's like, of course we can afford it if it goes to 80 or 90 or $100, but everything
want
has
that to
a
be
value
the new normal
that you have to that you put on things, right? No matter what it is, right? When you go buy a car, yes, can you afford the payment for a much more expensive car? Of course, you just got to sacrifice some other shit to make it happen, right? But it's like, no, I don't feel like spending more than this for that. I don't feel like spending more than this for that. I can't, bro, we can't get to a point where $80, $90, $100.
And we're talking about games that don't drop their prices, right? It's not something that you're going to go ahead and find on sale for 75% off like 2 years down the line, right? So these prices are going to stick, and that's also a part of the bigger problem. We were just talking about Game Pass, and that is what is so eye-opening, and that is part of the problem, right? When you're looking at the value and what you're getting in there, and then what are you going to do? Spend what you spend on Game Pass for what? How long? Like what? 3 months? Or 4 months? Spend it on freaking Mario Kart?
Dude, there can get to a point where 2 games a year, if you buy your Game Pass through like CD keys and shit, if you buy 2 regular games a year, that's a whole year of Game Pass.
Yep. That's the value right there.
How the fuck does that make sense outside of this situation? And again, I know, listen, I lived through the old times too. And yes, they were $80 games, $90 games for Nintendo, and there was crazy shit happening.
Yeah,
but number one, standardized pricing wasn't really that big of a thing. Like there wasn't hey, every game is this price type deal. There was a justified, around most games were a certain amount, but people would do shit like that. But there were also not that many games.
Exactly.
Right? So you would go ahead, buy a game, and live in that game for a while. Good or bad, you bought it, you're stuck. This is what's happening. Right? Now, dude, there's so many games coming out. So many games that a lot of us core gamers, I would call us, want to experience. Mm-hmm. And outside of Game Pass, you're telling me, 6 games dropped this month that you want that are $80, and that's cool. Fuck it. Let's go ahead and just you're gonna spend $500 every fucking month that there's 6 games coming out. Come on, man.
And that's crazy. What? I agree with you, man. The only people that it wouldn't make sense to subscribe to Game Pass. There's only one type of person that shouldn't subscribe to Game Pass, and that's a person that only buys Call of Duty. because it would be stupid to pay a monthly fee. You only play Call of Duty. If you're a gamer, if you play more than that, but like even with the Call of Duty argument, even that game is in the service, right?
Yeah.
If you're a casual, a super casual that only plays Call of Duty, because I'm gonna tell you why I remember my father, who just passed like a few weeks ago, so rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man.
I bought him an Xbox
Sorry to
Series
hear that,
S,
though.
right?
That's why.
For MLB The Show. He only played 2 games a year, MLB The Show and Madden. That's it, right?
Yep.
So then I realized I was paying Game Pass every month. I was like, I should have just bought it, right? So because I was paying every month and he would only play it like maybe 4 or 5 months out of the year, then I realized, okay, maybe I should have just bought it. Those are the only people I can see not getting Game Pass. Any other person that considers yourself a gamer, what are you doing? Like, seriously. You can't say, because I remember back in 2017, the argument was, oh, Game Pass don't have shit in there, nothing but old games.
Yep.
Okay. Now, they literally own Bethesda. They own ABK. They have a plethora of first-party studios, and they have some third-party games dropping day and date. Even EA Access games drops later, like college football, Madden, FC Sport. Like what? Like how are you calling yourself a gamer and still saying Xbox Game Pass is trash? Because you're full of shit.
You are.
You full of shit.
100%.
If you say, listen, I'm not an Xbox fan, I don't want the service, that's fine. But to sit up here and say it's a bad service, PlayStation Plus is better, you full of shit. Flat out.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cracked out.
You're either a pony or Nintendo pony.
That.
Yeah. And I'll say one thing that I like about Game Pass is, like, you know, for people who don't have a lot of money, it pulls you out of the live service rabbit hole a little bit. Once you get a chance to play a bunch of different variety type of games, you don't necessarily have to live inside of a Call of Duty or live inside of a Madden or 2K, where you only bought your 1 or 2 games a year and that's what you just played all year. Now you get to play a variety of different games and genres that you never even knew that you might like.
Yeah.
So
I see Shane G said that he worked with people that only play 1 or 2 games a year. Maybe Game Pass isn't the best thing for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
Like you said, right? Call of Duty is basically like the forever games, right? If you play
or the
those forever games. Yep. If you're playing Fortnite only, if you're playing Roblox only, if you're playing Call of Duty or Madden or NBA, FIFA, you know, I don't know how much crossover there is between them. I don't know how many people go from NBA for football, you know, Madden to FIFA. Maybe that exists, but I think outside of that, that's where we're kind of talking about, right? There's obviously those type of people who only play those games. That doesn't mean they're less of gamers, right? Because if they're spending their free time playing some shit, then they're playing some shit. You know, they like what they like, and that's fine. But it's also like, don't then turn around and talk shit about Game Pass. Like,
well, that's the thing. If
sense.
it doesn't suit you, it doesn't, and that's fine. But you can still see the value, right? And I agree. Like, if you have your designated, you know, 1 or 2 games a year, that's a whole different story. But even for people who like may end up and Farah, I believe you brought up just to, you know, try out the games. Even if you were to go ahead and still buy the games that you do enjoy, just not wasting the money buying a game that you haven't played, right? So almost like a demo, right? To go ahead and try out the games and make sure you actually like them instead of losing that full price. Not to mention that if they're in Game Pass, you get them for 20% off. It's just, if you're looking to explore and try new and different things and potentially end up liking a lot of games that you didn't even think you would, I mean, that's the place to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Facts.
Yep.
Not to mention, I just saw Boomer Benz bring up a great point. Like, even then, like, if you go ahead and play the system correctly and focus on those Microsoft reward points, dude,
yes,
you can pay for your.
A lot of people
pay for Game Pass through playing. You know what I'm saying? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy for them. The more they play, the more rewards they get. The more rewards they get, the less they pay. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
And Xbox knows that that's a thing, and they allow that to happen, right? They're already giving you the best deal in the world, and they allow you to literally get it for free if you just devote all your time to getting all this stuff done. Like that's crazy. But let me get some of these super chats because they've been sitting here for a while, man. I appreciate you. Dave came back when we were talking about his Pornhub habit with the $2 chat. Says, yes, you can customize South of Midnight's hub, you POSs. Dark Angelic with the 5 says people who wanted a Switch 1 already got one. This is just gaslighting by Nintendo to justify their greed.
Yeah.
So you talk about when Doug Bowser tried to say, hey, go get a Switch if you can't get this one. It's like, no, POS. Why would we go buy your old shit? Like who? And for like $100 less. You know what I'm saying? Like you did not drop the price. True. Did they announce that the Switch is now $150? No, they didn't lower that shit. Come on, man. Straight up bullshit. Dave Easy said with that too says Nintendo sold dummies cardboard. Are you surprised? They did do that.
True.
They did.
That is,
but it didn't sell though. I mean, even the regular fan was like, "Oh hell no, we ain't buying no damn cardboard now."
yeah.
Now Nintendo, y'all went too far with this.
We ended up getting. What were they like? They were like $10 on like clearance, and we ended up getting the set just to have it to see if the kids would ever look at it. All that shit.
Never.
We bought them for $10 each on clearance. And they are wherever I don't even know where they are, but wherever they are sealed. Unopened, sealed, just sitting there looking stupid. But we got it for like 10 each. So I was like, all right, we'll see. We'll see if the kids will like it. They didn't. They didn't care.
Yeah, cardboard.
Fontus R2 with that 5 man. Appreciate your homie. Says something that may also factor in the pricing is that what Nintendo may be trying to collect for what it cost them for using NVIDIA parts. The other big N. I mean, maybe Nvidia's charging them a premium. I don't. In that interview, this one right here, the CBC ship, he brought up the question about taking a loss on hardware came up. And the guy said, is that's what's happening here? You know, you take a little loss on the Switch 2 and you sell the hardware. And Doug was like, well, I mean, you know, we got to make a little something. You know what I'm saying? We got to make a little something. But so like he's good making the money there for sure. They're definitely selling this stuff for more than they could. I don't know how much NVIDIA. Like Nvidia's selling them their old shit. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like old crap that's coming out on this Switch. Like this is not their newest stuff. You didn't hear no announcement of the newest DLSS or anything. Supposedly it can do DLSS, but it doesn't say what format of it, right? Like seems like this is all pretty old tech. So I don't know. I mean, do you guys think that Nvidia is charging them a premium and that's why one of the reasons why they could be more?
Nah, because I don't think they're using the latest NVIDIA technology. So I wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
If their console blew me away, I might feel that way. But like when I watched the show, I was like, I
didn't see Street Fighter 6 comparisons. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't. I saved it. I didn't watch it though.
It looks pretty good. It looked a little bit more crisp than like PS5 and Xbox Series S. I don't know about the X, but I guess the resolution looked better. I don't know, but we'll see when some of these other games, because they're putting Cyberpunk on there, and that's only running 40 FPS. So,
is it?
I don't know.
So, I mean, I guess we'll see with. I think that's why they did the 120. By the way, the big push for 120, because that's the only way you can get 40. And you know, Digital Foundry's done it a bunch of times where it's like 40, it doesn't feel like 30. Like it feels like much better than 30. So maybe that was like their big play. But Digital Foundry is going to be the one that exposed this shit, right? So they're either going to be like, wow, I was blown away and I was shocked. Nintendo's actually amazing, or they're gonna be like, well, You know, they're fucked.
I mean, I think we should give them some time though, because they kind of went back and forth with the pisser until they.
Well, you know, they rebel against PlayStation now. They're
So-
the ones who've been slapping up PlayStation 5 Pro. You got that dude, what's his name? Tom Morgan. He came out, he was like, man, the worst thing that ever happened this year was the PlayStation 5
They
Pro.
was-
It's the worst.
I ain't
launch
gonna lie,
ever.
they was giving the pro that business, bro. They
Oh yeah.
they was giving the
'Cause
pro
you know why?
that
'Cause
business.
they felt stupid. It all happened. I tell you right now, it's all that interview, the Flopflation interview,
Mhm.
right? With Mark Cerny.
Yep.
Everything before that was super glazed.
Yep.
Right? Everything. Oh my God, this shit tastes so good. They licking shit. And they're like, this shit is scrumptious, right? And then Mark Cerny came out, and that dude, Oliver, whatever the hell his name, he was so excited and giddy. Oh my God, the Pro is so amazing, and it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that. And Mark Cerny's like, yo, fam, settle down, dog. This is a mid-gen refresh. This ain't no new shit. Okay, it's gonna do everything the PlayStation does, just a little different. All right, just a little different. Calm down. And everything after that, you just saw his heart break. You know that Oliver dude, because you know he's a super,
Yeah.
pony, right? And his heart broke and shattered into billions of pieces. And then all of a sudden, they're like, you know what? Your fucking Pro don't look as pretty no more. Bad critical on everything. Man, this shit don't work right no more. Look at that stutter. Look at that stutter. Make 16 videos about your stutter, bitch.
And you know it's so funny when they was trying to throw it, like in the rare occurrence, like the most recent I could think about is like Assassin's Creed Shadows ran better, or they did something better on the Pro than it did on the Xbox Series X. And guys was out there like talking mad shit, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, fellas. Last generation with the Xbox One X, we were talking shit because PlayStation also had a mid-gen refresh. Remember the PS4 Pro? Now y'all out here because finally like a game on the PS5 Pro is doing what it's supposed to do as a $700-800 console, and y'all are talking shit about the Xbox Series X. Stop it.
Facts.
Stop. Come on,
Facts.
stop. You know,
Like-
it's like
It
stop it.
don't
Man.
make
You guys are
sense.
stupid.
It don't make sense. Like Xbox didn't do a mid-gen.
They did
Like,
not do
just-
a mid-gen this time.
Like y'all did, and clearly it ain't all that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
Phil said, no, we don't need to do one this gen.
Facts.
They're gonna, start next generation early.
Yeah, mid-gen, no refresh from PlayStation.
Facts.
I don't hear nobody talking about the PS5 Pro anymore.
I know.
I don't be
Dude,
hearing
that shit
shit,
came
man.
and gone, dog. It's so gone. They
'Cause their
know.
crisper is
just
broken.
Listen, just like Astrobot, just like Rise of the Ronin, just like Stellar Blade, these games, this console, they all talk shit, and then it comes out, and then crickets. You don't hear nothing no more because they ain't nothing to glaze on that shit no more.
Yeah, bro.
They ain't nothing happening over there. They realized that when Mark Cerny told them that y'all some goofy bitches out here making up stories, embarrassing yourselves, saying that this shit was gonna be 33 teraflops, like the fuck out of here. What do you think we were making? Bitches, bro. Bitches. That being said, this got me thinking about next gen, and Nintendo fucked next gen too. They did because last gen Xbox and PlayStation way more powerful, way more powerful, came out at 500.
Yeah.
That was in 2020. Okay, now you got the Switch thinking it's gonna show up at 450. Do you think that the next generation Xbox that's gonna be is gonna clear the Switch to like it was nothing, right? Like just like so far behind Switch 2 will be, right? Like it basically is gonna be last generation compared to the new Xbox. What are they gonna do? Charge you $50 more at 500? Charge you $100 more at 550? $150 more? A whole new generation? Way more powerful? No, Nintendo fucked us, bro. Before Nintendo did this, the conversation you brought up, Dirt, was it's gonna most likely be about $700-800, right? Now with Switch 2 in the conversation, it's guaranteed minimum $700 to $800 minimum, guaranteed. Because
absolutely
of is next gen was just like GTA 6. It was all a thought. It was all like, oh, I wonder, maybe. I mean, yeah, it's likely that it's gonna happen, but will it? Now, guaranteed because of the fucking Switch 2. Switch 2, the games and the hardware, fucked everybody. Goddamn. Sons of bitches.
I think, people need to speak with their wallets. And I think what happened with the PlayStation 5 Pro had a little momentum because of that 30th anniversary, but it didn't sell the way that they wanted it to. So I think if the same thing happens to Nintendo, that is going to set the standard, right? Where it's kind of like, okay, if we show up like this, we're also going to hit the same wall. But if they come out here and kill it at what? How much is it now after we don't even have a price? We'll see. Are the games going up as well? Not just the console? Are the accessories going up as well? Right? The prices are on hold. They can't pre-order. You can't pre-order anything. So it's
With
not.
the tariffs.
We keep talking about the console, but what else is going up?
Everything.
If everything else goes up too, I mean, it's not going to be pretty.
Goddamn Nintendo. Who the fuck thought that they were going to be the assholes to do this shit? You know, God damn them. Why? Who the fuck are they? Bro, we would be talking about so much pony shit right now. But you know, Nintendo's the new pony, bro. Like they literally just swooped in to be some punk ass. This is only a pony would do this shit. Facts. And look at them. God damn it. Let me get, man, I'm so annoyed by them. Let me get the okay, right here. Queen Witch in the building. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for that $2 super chat. Says someone here just turned 61. Still playing games. And that would be Dark Angelic. That's
Happy
right. I
birthday.
saw him. He said, outed by my own wife.
61 years young.
Nice.
If he could do it, we could do it. You know what I'm saying?
I know I'm gonna still be playing games. God willing, I'm still be playing games. They ain't going nowhere.
So what else you gonna do? Okay.
Right. What else
exciting is there? What,
watch sports TV? All day?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. some ass shit.
I like sports, but I'm like, hey, I need to play some video games, man.
Do you play real quick? Do you play sports games?
Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm a big 2K guy, even though it's just a microtransaction game at this point. But the gameplay is pretty good. But I do play sports games, yeah. I don't really play Madden like that though.
Yeah. The last time I played NBA 2K in all like sincerity, like I'm actually sitting down and I'm playing this game, was 2014. Was 2K14.
That one was amazing.
I was about to say that was a good one. that
was a great one,
away, bro. Yeah,
I loved it, enjoyed it. Fucking played for so fucking long. But then after that, I like, you know what it is? I feel like, see, I love graphics, right? Like I'm a sucker for graphics, right? And I feel like NBA, Madden, all the shit, they kind of like, I don't know, like kind of plateaued. Like, do you feel that way? Do you see a big difference from year to year graphically, or are they kind of like just in that same ballpark?
As a guy that's been playing, that played every 2K game, every Madden game, it seemed like with the Xbox One PS4 generation, that was another leap from the 360 PS3 gen to throughout the Xbox One generation. The graphics stayed pretty steady, but not really a big improvement. Then with this current generation, it got a little bit better, but not by much, and it has kind of stayed around the same. Right?
Yeah.
But
see,
I just think that's. But in my opinion, I just think that's what it is now, man. We're never going to get that big jump anymore. Like I always tell the story, that original Xbox PS2 jump to the 360. Or the PS1 jump to the PS2. But for me personally, that damn original Xbox to the 360 jump, that story I tell where NBA Live 06 was a trash game, but just seeing Dwayne Wade sweating
Yep.
Fight Night Round 3.
Yep.
That jump blew me away. Seeing Gears of War, oh my god! But I don't think we never get. Well, I don't think we never get that jump again. Now, some people say, yeah, well, maybe with frame rate, the graphical jump. There's some great looking games, obviously, like Hellblade 2. Fable
I was gonna
looks
say
fantastic.
Hellblade 2 is like
Yeah.
Hellblade 2 looks fantastic. I mean, maybe we will, but I don't know if I'll ever see. Just me personally, I'm talking about me. That jump that from generation to generation, like from the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo to the PS1, that was a pretty big jump from the PS1 to the PS2, the original Xbox. Those are some big jumps, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't think because we're always going to have cross-gen games for the first 5 years of the generation. Now it's like I just don't think. I don't think they're going to get much better than what they are now. But then again, we haven't seen Gears of War E-Day. I heard that's going to be
we have it
a looker. I heard that is going to look really good.
That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now. This is the thing. Like I get what you're saying, because when you think about like how console games, like for me, like NBA was always a game that I loved. That first trailer that they would drop for the new one, because it was always pushing, and then you just saw that it just stopped, right? Like it just stopped pushing. It was just basically the same game, just a little whatever. But like there is a lot of room. That's not a mythical thing, because if you go and you run Cyberpunk, right, and you run it on an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, and then you go to the PC and go to the max cycle settings and rate path tracing, all that crazy shit, and you put those games next to them, like next to each other, it's a world apart, right? It's just as big as those other gaps in gaming before, where you saw those huge leaps. That it exists today.
Yeah, you mean when from console to PC, like seeing
when you go to console to the highest of PC.
Yes, because the same thing, even with Avowed, the same thing with South of Midnight on PC looks
South of Midnight.
Insane.
I didn't go into it.
Yep.
Because then I would have to show clips, and that shit. Doing these reviews is crazy, trying to get all these clips together. But either way, I played some of that game, like the middle of it. So basically, I started on Xbox, then I played the middle of it on PC, and then I finished on Xbox. And I can tell you right now, you guys all played it, right? So when you clear a zone from the stigma, right? You do that cleanse shit, and it's supposed, all the flowers are supposed to sprout up around you, and it looks whatever. Okay. Maxed out on PC, that shit turns into a forest, bro. Like man, fucking so much grass everywhere, flowers everywhere. Like it's so much more. It makes such a big difference when I was playing on the PC. But it looked great on the Xbox. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying.
But yeah,
it's definitely like the powers. The room is there.
There's still room.
If we get that, if that level can become the standard at some point, I feel like then we'll be at like it's gonna get better, but it can't get like too much better, right? But then I mean,
technology though, we have limitations in our minds as to where things can go, right? And you're saying, well, once it gets to that point, then what's next? But obviously things continue to move forward, because back then we didn't think that we can see some of the things that we see now.
Exactly.
So it's just time, and who's in there continuing to tweak.
Yeah,
but I also think that when you think about things like you mentioned 2K, their focus isn't like back in the 360 generation. The graphics got better throughout the that generation for 2K. I'm speaking specifically about 2K. Now I don't think that's their focus anymore. I think their focus is to make the game look good enough, and where they're trying to innovate is trying to think of different ways to monetize, right? Especially with 2K, bro.
Yeah.
They're thinking, they're still an annual game. They're thinking of new ways to monetize. Now, I would say the WWE 2K game looks incredible, right? The
The newest one,
player models. Yeah, it
the
looks great.
traders look really good. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it. Like I don't have it, but
Yeah, but
it looks
also
really good.
now they're trying to think of more creative ways to monetize. That's with these sports franchises, that's what their goals are now. They might
Yeah.
try to add a gameplay feature, but bro, it's about, that's what it's about now. Because 2K, I mean, the game looks good, but the graphics aren't really getting better over the years like they did in the past. In the past, I would say last generation is where the graphics kind of reached the point where, okay, it looks good enough. They might have a couple of new face scans for a couple of players where they might look a little better, but that jump from the 360 to the PS4 and the Xbox One, I don't think we never had that again, because that was a hell of a jump.
So you know what I think is going to be the real jump, and I think that it's something that has been being worked on, and we still haven't seen it because the people who are working on it haven't released their games. I think the biggest jump is going to come from animation. I think that's where it's going to get real, because like State of Decay, remember they have a whole studio that they made just to work on animation.
I'm waiting for that game, by the way.
I cannot wait for that game. I cannot wait. That's just gonna be crazy. Gears of War, they're in the same boat, right? Coalition is doing a lot of work with animation, right?
And I think help a lot of the other studios, like did. That's like using Unreal Engine 5.
Absolutely. So I think what's gonna happen is next gen, right? Next gen is gonna bring in the thing that will make it all come together, which is AI. And what's going to happen is that AI is now like basketball games, all that stuff. AI is going to know each player and know their mannerisms, and it's going to do the animation. That's what's going to happen. Those moves, all that stuff. It's going to, when you do a spin or you do a crossover, the AI is going to know who your character is, and it's going to go through all the footage. It's going to be trained
of the real life players. Yeah, absolutely.
Of the real life player and how they shoot and how they dunk and how they lay up and how they pass.
Yeah.
And that is all going to start to play in. And I think that's going to be the biggest place that we're going to see the biggest leap. I feel like animation is the part that still keeps games looking like games, right?
That's a good point. CMoney, that's a good point, because I think when it comes to AI, the first thing you think about is, man, they're going to take people's jobs. And, there might be some truth to that, but not everybody, right? But we're also hearing the positives about it. AI is going to make game development faster. It's going to help game development easier for the devs. Say, yeah, man, you don't have to manually make that forest and shit. AI will do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to help in the long run. So we'll see what happens with that. I am one of them guys. Listen, brother. Technology is a part of our life, is a part of our world. And some people hate it. But if it makes more games come out faster, I don't want people to lose their jobs. But the way games are coming out now, a AAA game is taking 5 to 6 years now. We used to get entire franchises in one generation.
Yep. 3 games in a generation.
We got 4 Gears games in one generation.
Yep.
Bro, we get maybe 1 game per generation now. We're like GTA. All games are like GTA now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It can't continue to go like that. Because that's why we keep on getting these games going up in price. The AI will probably help some of the budgets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even if you think about like the example that I said, no one can AI is so much more, has so much more capability than replacing somebody's job. Like nobody is going to be able to animate that shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to be able to do that. And yes, they do they get them to come in, right? The NBA players, they get them all, get those fucking lights on them or whatever, and they go do dunks and they watch it and they film it and then they use those animations in the game. Sure, cool.
Yeah, the mocap stuff.
It's the mocap stuff, but it's still primitive in the way that they have to make it where they might do like they might do 6 crossovers and have it randomly happen and have like certain situations that might make it happen, right? But then that's it. Whatever whatever they mocapped is the
Mhm.
end of it, right? So if a dude from one season to the next changes the way he shoots or changes a certain or gets a certain different dribble that he likes to do or whatever the hell it is, or a different crossover, that stuff nobody could just sit there and just keep on changing, right?
Yeah.
That's where AI is gonna do it. It's gonna help do the shit that is too much work for a random person to do. I don't think people are gonna lose their jobs. I think people are gonna be able to spend more time doing the shit they want to do
Yeah.
instead of having to iterate and have stupid I just think it's gonna be
I
so
also
much better,
think
bro.
there are
supposed to make it
situations where
easier.
it makes new jobs
Exactly.
as well, though. Like there is opportunity when one door kind of shuts, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to need a team, right? And you're not going to
Oh, you
need the
definitely
people
you still
there.
gonna need the team, right?
Exactly. Like you still have to go ahead and touch up and clean up, and people will be necessary. And also, like it can potentially create new jobs according to how effective it is or what it actually does, right? It's just it's not a limitation thing. It's something that it's going to just push us forward. But when it comes to jobs, you don't know what else they're going to that is going to be necessary to go ahead and get these things done.
Yeah, and
Yep.
honestly, you still need like creative, like that's the shit. Like creatives, I think are gonna be fine because I can tell
Mhm.
you right now, like even when you like make a thumbnail or whatever and you're using AI, right? And you put some shit in there and you write some shit, like I'm always blown away by some of the shit that other people can make. And I be trying to make shit. I'm like, my shit ain't coming out right.
Yeah.
Because it's the input you do, right? So if you don't have the right verbiage, if you don't have the right descriptions in there to kind of make it work the right way, like to get the results you want, like it's not that simple. You know what I'm saying? Like there will be specialists that come about. That'll be a new position, AI specialist, people who just know how to fuck with this shit the right way.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Did y'all see Quake 2?
yeah, I tried it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Which is wild because that's just a game completely. AI is just literally just making that shit on the fly
Yep.
based off what it knows that Quake 2 is. I mean, it's super blurry and shit, but that's just the start.
Yeah, it's progress.
Yeah, man. And that's what they're willing to show us, which means
Yeah.
they're obviously way further than that, but they're giving us the initial drip. You got the homie called Weave in the building with that $5 super chat.
Yo.
Says Call of Duty $70, Battle Pass 30-40, Game Pass Core $70, total to just play CODs $170 to $180. You can get a year of Game Pass Ultimate for that using discounts and sales.
Sure.
I mean, that's the crazy truth of it, man. It is. Balls Red 77 with that $2 super chat. What's up, man? Thank you for being here. It says
Thank you,
Shuntaru
love.
Furukawa is the Don Magic of Nintendo. Oh shit. That's wild. That's wild. You got the homie Simple Jack in the building with
Simple
that
Jack,
$5
what's
super
good?
chat. Appreciate you, homie.
Thank
Says
you.
people paid 700 plus for Better Shadows in AC, a game the game they were trashing before it came out. Simple Jack, you ain't wrong, dog. You ain't wrong. And I do see the homie Pragmatic E with that $5 super chat. Appreciate you, homie. Says Nintendo coming to take the Master Pegger crown from Sony. And Nintendo
Yes.
fans gonna let them get it. No effing way. I'm robbing myself. But hashtag do you.
No effing way I'm robbing myself.
Damn.
Love that.
Nintendo's out here with the gate glove.
Yo, start with the Game Glove. For real. All right. Listen, before we head out, and we're gonna have the homie Dirt. Appreciate you, man. I know you gotta
Thank
get
you.
going. Before we head out, any last word? We're gonna switch. We'll talk about something else. But any last words about what Nintendo is doing right now and what you think is, what you think of the situation, what's going to happen from it? Any last words on that?
Not really. It's just right now. It's just we're just waiting to see what happens. I don't think they're gonna do what Xbox One did in 2013 and say, you know what, we're just gonna change
Walk
it.
it back.
We're not gonna walk it back. I don't think they're gonna do that. But I do think they're gonna roll with it And I do think it's just going to be a part of gaming. These prices are going to be a part of gaming. And Nintendo was just the first to do it. I don't know how the Switch 2 is going to do, but I don't think it will do as well as the first Switch. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Nintendo is Nintendo. But I am enjoying them getting that smoke right now, though. I am.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Every time I see something new, I was like, we're going in.
Yeah.
We're going in. That's all I want to do. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
But,
well, brother, man, appreciate you, homie. Thank you so
you.
much. For
I appreciate it, guys. I got to go, man. I know I get up early in the morning. It's 10:17 here, so I appreciate you guys inviting me back, man. Appreciate it.
No problem,
man. Absolutely, bro. Guys, obviously, you guys all know Dirt, but if you don't know, where they find you, Dirt?
Of course, my channel. Check out my channel. I was trying to drop a video, man. I have to have something that's passionate. And I saw some hypocrisy from these PlayStation guys. Kind of funny games. The guy said Hades 2 being Nintendo Switch exclusive is kind of bullshit. I'm like, oh, now exclusivity is bullshit, huh?
Wait, Hades 2 is exclusive to the Switch too?
Yeah,
at launch. Yeah.
What? It's in early access on Steam, but for a console, it's going to be exclusive at launch.
Yeah, but then I have a clip. I posted a clip where he said how part 1 wasn't exclusive at first, but then it went everywhere. And now the sequel is going to be exclusive again. And I said, isn't that funny? That sounds exactly like Death Stranding 2. Because part 1 wasn't exclusive. Then it eventually went everywhere. Did well. He said it's bad business for Hades and Nintendo. But then I said, Death Stranding is doing that exact same thing. I wonder how he feels about Death Stranding. I don't know. I don't watch the show, but I'm just curious about that. Death Stranding 2 is only on the plate, not even on PC at launch. So that's the exact same thing. Is that still bad business? We'll see.
Look at that hypocrisy at its finest.
Yep.
This is what it is. This is the pony way, right? Yep. If they do it, I mean, what do you mean? Well, of course we do this. This is the way. We must accept it. But if it happens to them, they get so offended, as if motherfuckers are supposed to bow down.
Yeah, don't cross these lines.
Yeah, that's how they feel, man. No. PlayStation can do it, but nobody else can do it. That's how their attitude is. So they're entitled, man. So.
Well, we look forward to that video, bro.
All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, homie.
Appreciate you.
Be easy, fam.
Thank you.
All right, now.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks.
And then there were 3. Shout out to Dirt.
Yes.
Coming out to rock out with us, man.
Dope.
That was dope, man. Appreciate him.
Thank you.
But
this is why it's so important for with Steam, for Xbox to go ahead and kind of continue to find a way around all of this.
Facts,
because these games that people want to continue to play, you have to figure out how to put a stop to it. And I love the way that they're going about it, where it's like, okay, go ahead and pay for your exclusives. We're just going to X that out.
Yeah, that's a fucking great point, man. Great point. So they literally are going ahead and circumventing all of these deals and all this bullshit, because at the end of the day, these developers are seeing that, I might do something on console, but I'm still hitting Switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not Switch, Steam. I'm not gonna lose Steam, right? That makes a lot of sense. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. Farrell, what about you, man? When it comes to this situation, before we kind of move on from it, anything else on
the exclusivity?
No, on the Switch 2 situation.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna sell nearly as well as the original Switch. I think a lot of people are gonna hold on to their current Switch, because I think a lot of those like Mario Kart, Mario, Zelda games are going to be backwards compatible to the original Switch and just run in Photoshop mode, like they have been doing. And because they're not really willing to give you an increased graphical performance or anything like that, from what I've seen so far. So I don't think it's going to sell nearly as well. I think it might hit like somewhere between 50 and 60 million total sales. But if people aren't going to be buying it, you know, in waves like they did before with the Switch lights and all those other cheaper Switch options, I just don't see it doing.
You tell me you're not going to spend $600 on the Switch 2 OLED?
No, I think when the Switch, I think that's where you're gonna find out who your hardcore audience is, and I think you're gonna lose a lot of that casual base, especially with there being so much more competition in the handheld market. I just can't see it. Like buying 2 copies of Pokemon for $90 a piece, you know, for the physical people. I mean, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough sell. And
I think that's the problem, because they're talking about like sharing the game, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a Switch 2 and you know the Switch 2 game, you can only share with those who have the Switch 2, right? So even if your thought is, okay, I'll buy, you know, the one Switch 2, and then now they can, even though the games are $90 a pop, they can all kind of share with that new thing that they've got going on. That's not going to play out. It's almost it's a rabbit hole, I feel like, that we're kind of walking into and sliding through, because again, the new, even though they're saying this is just the way we're going to be selective as to which games are going to cost this much. I think it's just a matter of time before they all do. I don't know what the new prices are going to be, because again, it's not what we believed, and again, people keep thinking that it's just the console. These games are probably going to go up in pricing too, especially anything physical. So we'll see how this plays out. I know how I will want it to play out. I hope that this just goes sideways and they have a freaking Wii U situation. But not everyone can necessarily see. That's just my perspective. See it from my perspective. So for me, yes, you know, they got, you know, 10, maybe 12 switches out of me. It's not happening, right?
Yeah.
It's not happening. So that for them, it's something that's not coming in anymore. So speaking with your wallet is the best thing you can do. I just don't know how many people are going to. We did have the situation where they had to shut off the comments, and we did see, you know, we showed on our last show the actual pictures, but I saw a video. Someone got a video, and they just scrolled down, and it was an insane amount of people just saying, "Drop your prices, drop your prices."
Yeah.
So we'll see, you know, we'll see how this is all gonna turn out to be. I've only heard people here and there, a couple of people just saying, you know, it is what it is, but most people are having an issue with this. So
yeah, I mean,
and rightfully so.
2 physical games, 2 $90 games is going to be the cost of what 3 games were on the original Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a significant raise. You going from 60 to 90. So you get 2 physical Switch games. That's the price of what 3 games would have been on a Switch. So that's a big difference in your buying decisions.
They better figure out how to make those Switch 2 games for the Switch 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, PlayStation has done it, right?
Yeah.
Like that they went and gassed people up and be like, "Oh yeah, this is a exclusive." And then they went ahead and ported it back, right?
Yep.
So I mean, at the end of the day, what would stop them from doing that? When they start seeing that not that many people bought a Switch 2, right? So if not that many people bought a Switch 2, then they want those games to be bought. They're going to port them to the Switch. And even if you listen, and you know, it's funny because I wanted to bring it up and then I forgot. The way he talked about the platforms,
Mhm.
right? Like, oh, if you can't afford the Switch 2, you can afford, you can go. That's why we're still making the Switch 1, right? We have
Yeah.
like this, you can go join us in our other platforms. It almost makes it seem like that might very well be the plan
Okay.
to go ahead and start with these quote unquote, Switch 2 exclusives, and then fucking
Go ahead and still drop the games on the Switch. So I mean, it's something that they wouldn't be forward about because they want as many people to go ahead and take the leap. But I mean, that's possible.
agreed.
That may be one of the, new things that they can go ahead and do and be able to maximize how much money they can possibly bring in.
But who
It's
who
not a
would
bad idea.
have thought Nintendo would be the first one to add a button to the controller and put the button behind a paywall?
Oh
That's-
shit.
Who would have thought Nintendo would have been the first one to do that? That's crazy.
That's real wild, actually.
Yeah.
That's real wild.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
real wild.